So games provide an engaging distraction, but they also affect our brains in positive ways, which researchers and medical professionals are starting to take notice of. It says that video games keep misery at bay. I thought that was a really strong statement that they used, because it's like it's just looking at video games in a different light, especially for people that use this as a means of feeling better. We all know how your state of mind affects the way that you live your life, or the way that your day will go that specific day. So if your state of mind is relaxed, it's better, and then go out and do your daily routine. Your state of mind is more, they were saying that it relaxes people, and it just makes them feel better because of the endorphins released by the brain. Before I go deeper into this, because some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, but sometimes you even feel worse playing video games, and I have felt this before. I suffer from migraines, so I can't play video games for a long time, like hours, because then I start getting even more stressed out, start getting a migraine or a headache, my eyes start hurting, I start feeling worse. But this is all, like any other activity, you should have moderation. So that's what they were saying, that even though this might help you, you should always have moderation with everything that you do. Because then it could have negative effects. Instead of helping you, it starts having negative effects. If you play video games for such a long time, you get really tired. Your eyes get tired. Physically, your eyes get tired. You might even experience headaches. You start feeling like fatigue. Some people even start feeling more depressed. They start feeling stressed, more anxiety. So it really stresses people out. Especially your muscles and your nerves, and you just start, because you've been playing for so long, you've been sitting there for so long in the same position, it doesn't do you good. So that's, video games could do you good, but of course in moderation. We always have to think about the moderation, because I could be saying this, but it's not always the case. Like, it's not like, oh, I found the cure to chronic pain, to chronic pain, just play video games all day long. No. It's moderation is the key. This whole extreme focus of the brain, they were calling it flow. That's what the researchers call it. This is the mental state where someone becomes so alertly focused on one activity that they're completely absorbed in it. So it's like they're in the zone. In 2009, another team in the University of Auckland created an interactive 3D PC fantasy game called Sparks to help treat depression in adolescents. Video games could also be a coping mechanism. It can give someone hope, provides normalcy, physical relaxation, and more importantly, mental stimulation. They were talking about this lady that has cancer, and the doctors are usually, she pretty much lives like on a month-to-month basis. They don't know how long she's going to live or anything like that. But her and her husband use video games as, like, almost as, she was saying that by starting a video game, a long video game, let's say an RPG, I think she mentioned Dragon Age 2, by starting it, it's like saying, I will live out until I beat this game. And I was just like, oh my god, that's pretty sad. But that it's a sense, it gives them hope. It's not, they're not constantly thinking, oh my god, will she live the whole month? It's like, she's gonna beat this game. Whatever helps people cope. It provides them a sense of normalcy. They're not constantly thinking of the illness and of her treatments and all that. They have this venue in order to make them feel better and to cope with it. So I'm just like, oh my god, that's so sad, but it's a good thing that people do this, because if it helps her, it's hard to constantly hear the things that the doctors tell you. It's just, it really grows on you. It really starts pressing you down so much. So this is where I'm gonna talk about something that I've never talked about on here. What I have mentioned before is that my mom has, she's suffering through a lot of things, she has a lot of health issues. One of them is kind of on the verge where they're not sure if she's in remission already or not. We're kind of on the fence right now. Like, first they were like, oh my god, it looks like she's clean of cancer because she has cancer. She's clean of cancer, but she's starting to have symptoms again. So they're gonna be doing more tests and stuff. So she's always had health issues. We're constantly in doctor's offices. That's her only outing, doctor's offices. And I stay home to take care of her, so I don't go out that much. Pretty much the only time I go out is to take her to the doctor. But what I haven't talked about is how I started to get more into video games. I've always played video games since I was a kid. When I was a little kid, I would always play video games. It was always on the Nintendo, because that was pretty much what we had, Nintendo systems. And then big hardcore games really didn't... We never had a console for big hardcore games, you know, like your first-person shooters and that kind of thing. It was always like kiddie games, like Nintendo games. So I grew up playing those, so I've always been playing video games. But when I got older, I would still play those, and my younger brother got an Xbox, and he started playing, you know, he was really into the big shooters, Halo and all that. And I just never felt like I could do it. I was always like, no, I'm not too good at that. I'll suck. So I'd watch him play Halo. And I would stick to the Nintendo always. I was always the one playing the Nintendo. I got a Sega. I played a little bit of Sonic, that kind of thing. But I never made the transition over to bigger games because I always felt intimidated by them. They were so different. I was just like, oh, I can't do that. My brother started playing Fable. My brother started playing Mass Effect. He was the first one that played Mass Effect. He never beat it, but I saw him playing Mass Effect, and I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And I was fascinated that you can make your own character. I was like, oh my god, you can make your own character. But I was intimidated. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I would just watch him. I've always been a daddy's girl. I was always with my dad, with everything. Always with my dad. Do everything with my dad. My dad taught me how to play soccer, everything. So we were always together. We would play Street Fighter with my dad. He didn't really play video games, but he would play Street Fighter. And when I was 17, my dad gets diagnosed with cancer. A really, really rare form of cancer in the thyroid. This rare form was like 100% lethal. From the beginning, the doctors were like, he's gonna die. And we were like, what? I didn't want to believe it. I was like, are you kidding me? He lasted about 6 months, and he was gone. He was one of the healthiest, strongest, full of life people that I had ever known. And in 6 months, he was gone. And I was like, it was, I mean, you can imagine how hard of a blow that is, especially for someone that's so close, like a daddy's girl. He was everything to me. At first you're in shock for a long time. So this happened in 2001. So it's going to be 11 years already, and it just feels like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. It feels like it's been a lot shorter. What helped me cope with that pain, with that emptiness, were video games. And that's how I made the transition, really. I needed something more. I needed something to keep my mind busy, because it was just, it hurt too much to go into that place where your mind just tells you he's gone and he's never coming back. It was to the point where I couldn't stand it. It hits you so hard sometimes, where you're just like, you feel like you're gonna go crazy. So I turned to the Xbox. I started to play video games. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna try these games out, and we'll see what happens. Me and my brother started playing Gears of War. and I got into it. I was like, hey, this is fun. It made me forget for a little while, and it made that moment easier. And I was like, it was this therapy. I don't know if that sounds weird, that video games were kind of like my therapy, but like it said, it's a coping mechanism. I have a huge imagination. I love to write. I love to read. So anything that takes me out of my life and puts me into another life, I love that, because it's like I'm experiencing another life for a little while. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to try Mass Effect. I played Mass Effect maybe like a year after it came out. I always remembered my brother playing it, and I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to at least make a character. And I was like all into the character customization. I took so long making my character because it was so fun for me. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I can make him look however I want. Oh my god. And I started playing, and I was like, I could do this. Like I got the idea like that. I was like, this is cool. And that's where it all started. That's where I started to get really into bigger games, RPGs, especially RPGs. I was never an RPG person, but when I started to feel that I needed something to distract my mind, that's when RPGs really came in handy, because those are the ones that really stimulate your brain and make you almost live this new life and actually, react to it and stuff like that. So yeah, video games helped me get through, or have helped me get through hard times, especially with just not thinking about them for at least a little while. They still are my coping mechanism. This, video games and YouTube has been my coping mechanism for a while. YouTube soon, just a year ago, but games since my dad passed away. And because after that, my mom was diagnosed with cancer as well, so it's just like cancer. And video games have really helped me keep my mind distracted, and like, again, I keep on saying that, that's why I really like that saying, is that they are a coping mechanism. At least for some people they are. Video games, they work as a form of escape for a lot of people. I think that's what makes them so intriguing, is that you could escape your world for a moment, and you could keep your mind active and running, and your imagination running wild, and your brain being stimulated in so many ways. The person from the article online said it gives people the opportunity to have adventures, face their fears, and live out their fantasies without any physical or financial risk to themselves. I really think, and I agree, I really think video games are an amazing form of entertainment, that they are starting to get more recognized, and this is awesome, all the research that they're doing, but there's still a lot of people that don't understand what they're about, that still, because the word game is attached to it, they think it's just like this child's thing, like a little kid's toy thing. So people that play video games, it's like they're immature or something like that. It's just this negative stigma that is attached not only to playing games, but also even just the word, just because it says game, and game is usually linked directly to to kids playing games. I really liked how this article ended. The one here on the Xbox Live magazine, it says, "So for now, in a society that often clings to the negative, it's refreshing to see the medium acknowledged for its potential in helping those who suffer." So I totally agree, 100%. If it helps someone, hey, you really can't ask for more there. So that's pretty much it. Feel free to share your thoughts on this issue or this topic. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.